All right, everyone. Science has to dig for answers and deduce what is going on through the scientific method, although sometimes I notice that it is conveniently ignored for political and social reasons. In this particular case, though, and in others, link in the description archived, of course, sometimes the answers are fairly obvious to deduce. They do not require any significant experimentation, they only require common sense. For example, youth colon cancer rates are up fairly sharply over the last years, along with stroke, heart attacks among people that are quite young. All of these things are rising. And I think that there are a number of contributing factors here. And this is another thing that science sometimes doesn't always, when they're doing experimentation, to get that federal grant money, that they kind of ignore. They're looking for a singularity that explains a phenomenon, even though it's not always a singularity. In many cases, there's going to be multiple causes. For example, strokes. What causes strokes? Well, there's no singular thing that causes them. Genetic conditions can cause them, bad diet, sedentary, and so forth. And I think that these are contributing also to the rise in cancer. When we're talking about colon cancer, okay, so we're talking about something that's related to the digestive and excretory system. Food is probably therefore a vector. Well, what has happened to people's access to nutritional food over the last few years? It's collapsed because people have less purchasing power. So instead of getting nice, healthy food, they're resorting to, I'll just grab whatever's cheapest. Well, whatever's cheapest is usually less nutritionally dense. It has less vitamins and minerals. That's just the way that it is. It's very sad that there are people that can't afford to have reasonably healthy food. If you're in a rural area, of course, you can always grow your own. It's also cheaper that way, but most people don't live in rural areas. Most people live in urban environs in the West. And by the way, we don't see the same replication of skyrocketing colon cancer rates in the third world now, do we? Okay, so there's got to be a difference between these two societies that accounts for it. Part of it is food. Part of it is sedentary lifestyle. That's not helpful. Part of it is obesity. So even if you are eating nutritional food, generally speaking, but you became fat, that could become a problem. You're stressing your system in general. Again, this can lead to other problems as well. Nanoplastics. We've flooded the entire world's water supply with nanoplastics. It's everywhere. It's also undefeated. It's not going anywhere for the next 1,000 years, even if we stopped using plastic for all intents and purposes, which we really need to start doing. Plastic bottles, for example, should be outright banned. They should not exist. You can refill a glass bottle many, many times. They used to do this, by the way, back in the good old days. They had refill stations. I just drank a Dr. Pepper. I go back and I refill the Dr. Pepper. Wow. All you need is a machine to refill it. Well, you got rid of the plastic bottle. Yeah, eventually the glass bottle might break, but you can always get another one. Ultimately, it's also cheaper and much more efficient to actually reuse the material. That's why I've got a shit ton of mason jars that I use as cups and stuff like that. There's no reason to throw them out or anything like that. They can be reused infinitely. It's glass. As long as it doesn't break, it'll last for, well, I think glass, technically speaking, does slowly melt, but I think it takes about 10,000 years or something. I have a feeling that that's beyond my lifespan. Being a vampire and all aside, I don't know, I'd have to drink an awful lot of blood in order to extend my life that much. Just joking, of course. But it's kind of obvious why youth colon cancer would be more prevalent. Again, poor diet, sedentary lifestyle, also chemicals that are added to the food. So even if you can again get the nutritional food, a lot of this like, oh, it's vegan, it's gluten free, and so that's basically it's bullshit. Also, I think that the adopting of actual like vegan meat products and stuff like that, like the sharp rise in the use of that kind of food, that might play a role as well, actually. So even people who they think that they're eating something that's more nutritious, instead of the hamburger, they opted for the veggie burger, but the veggie burger is loaded with preservatives and chemicals and shit like that, as opposed to the old school ones that were, ground up carrot and beet and beans and stuff like that. The new ones, soy. Oh yeah, that's good for your digestive system, especially if you're a male. Go get your xenoestrogen, everybody. It's a big, big problem ultimately. And it'll probably continue to become more and more prevalent because most of these problems are becoming more and more exacerbated. What we need to do is have a true clean living sort of initiative. So get people to grow victory gardens again and share their crops with one another and preferably grow it organically and stuff like that. Get kids out more instead of just sitting there all day. Get them out at least taking walks and shit like that, and try to deal with the plastic problem because it's becoming a real goddamn mess. That's about all. Peace out.